Good morning. It's Thursday, October 3rd. Welcome to this edition of Up to the Minute. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Sade Campbell, and I serve as the Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at the Houston Community College. Pleased to be joined by my co-host today, Ms. Linda Davis, who serves as the Office Manager for College Operations at HCC Northeast. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Sade. Back to be in the hopper. Glad to be back in the hopper.
Yeah. All right, for those that may be hopping in and out of our episodes and not know where to catch us, how can they find Up to the Minute?
We're live on Houston Community College's district Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10, Monday through Friday.
All right, well, we have a good lineup, so a great lineup today. Today for Thursday Family Fun Day, we'll feature a climate justice exhibition inspired by the San Jacinto River fire decades ago. Joining us to talk about it is DeHoyos Sauder, who is the curator of DiverseWorks and our Thursday Family Fun Day guest. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
That is such an interesting topic, and you and Linda are going to have a conversation about all the great work you all are doing with the exhibition. But first, HCC's Outreach and Recruitment Office is here to discuss our annual event, Eagle Preview Day. Pleased to have in studio with me my colleague, Afrah Hassan, who serves as the Director of HCC Outreach and Recruitment. Good morning, Afrah.
Good morning, Sade. Always good to see you. Good morning, HCC world.
Yes, we usually see each other on the 11th floor, but this is our first time in studio, so
yes.
we love it. So Eagle Preview was launched through the leadership when you stepped into this role. We've always had open houses,
yes.
but we're making a distinction around what this event is, and you are Eagle Preview down to the core, the shirt. You love this is your baby. So tell us about this event.
Other than my actual child, this is a baby that I birthed about 3 years ago. This is our third annual Eagle Preview. And I say this every year, every college and university, definitely in this country and probably in other countries, have some type of a preview day where it's a really fancy title for an open house where prospective students, newly admitted students, transfer students really have an opportunity to kind of learn about HCC. They don't necessarily have to enroll. Maybe they're still considering it. Maybe it's on their one of their top lists of schools they're thinking of attending. They can come and learn about different programs, talk to student services, our support staff, and then, of course, our academic and workforce programs as well.
Yes. And, we have a lot of enrollment and registration events here at HCC, but what distinguishes Eagle Preview is the opportunity to really get the Eagle experience. So one of the things that distinguishes HCC, I say this all the time, until you see the spaces that you learn in, you really won't understand what a gem it is to come and do hands-on learning in an environment like HCC. So what can students expect when they are exploring their programs at the event?
So I always say that HCC is the best kept secret here in Houston and really around the world. So they'll have an opportunity to really be able to tour the facilities. A lot of the departments will be doing demonstrations, so they'll be able to do some hands-on activities. They'll get to hear from our support services like financial aid and scholarships, admissions, going over prerequisite courses, transfer opportunities. And then, of course, one of the cool things is if you do attend and register, you'll get one of these cool HCC Eagle Preview shirts that I have on.
And tell us about the pink. We haven't seen a lot of HCC pink shirts, so.
So, of course, this is October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we wanted to make sure that we represent and support Breast Cancer Awareness Month while also supporting this event as well, which is typically always in October.
Yes, and you've already talked a lot about what a student can expect. So really, this was designed to help a student make a decision.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you need to decide to go to college? You need to know what you want to study. You need to know how you're going to pay for it. And you need to feel like a sense of belonging and that this is the place for you.
And the great thing about HCC is because we're really located on every side of the city, on every part of town, you know, our courses are small in terms of student to faculty ratio. We are a fraction of the cost compared to some of our four-year partners, and we love our four-year partners. And we want students to eventually transfer and graduate, but we want them to kind of start here. I say start here, go anywhere. So we want them to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of, oh, you know, I can actually do this. I can go to HCC and I don't feel like I'm in a class with 200 other students and I'm feeling lost and it's overwhelming. So Eagle Preview really kind of gives them a preview of what it's like being an actual student at the institution.
Love that. That's the commercial right there. That's that. That's the HCC commercial right there. Grab that clip. Okay. So if someone is watching this and they're wondering, is this for me? Who can I bring? Tell them who should come to the event?
Oh, that is such a great question. And I have to make a note to make sure I let participants know. So, of course, bring yourselves, but we want you to bring your families. We are a family-oriented college. We have family support services for our students. So we want you to bring mom and dad, aunt and uncle, granddad, bring your children if you can. This is really a family event because you may decide to go to school, but there might be somebody in your family who also might want to take classes. So we want you to bring your friends, bring 2 or 3 friends, tell them to sign up for Eagle Preview. Registration is now open. We want as many people here as we possibly can have.
All right. And you mentioned just the convenience of how many locations we have across the city. Now, there are select locations that are having this event. How can students find out not only the locations, but the programs that will be highlighted during the event?
Great question. So there are 5 locations that will be hosting this event. That will be our Southeast East Side campus, Southwest, both West Loop and Stafford, our North Line campus, as well as our Coleman Health Science College, which is a very popular program. And you'll get to speak to professionals from everything from health sciences to cosmetology to logistics, automotive, truck driving, public safety. We have a ton of different programs. I mentioned earlier that our financial aid team will be at every location, Veterans Affairs, our VMAS, International Students Office, just a wide variety, Honors College. We really have brought out everyone for these events. So we're really looking forward to seeing our new students arriving.
And you know, one thing I go to these, I went to a couple of the events. This is our 3rd one that we're having. Mm-hmm. And I think some of the best moments are when students was like, I didn't know HCC had this.
Absolutely. And I've just said it, we really are the best kept secret. And one of the things I'm working on is having an opportunity to really kind of get our name and brand out there a little bit more. And before I forget, one of the things HCC now has 2, of course, bachelor's degree programs, one in AI and robotics, and as well as in the healthcare. So they'll get an opportunity to kind of learn more information about how they can not only earn a certificate or an associate's degree, but completing a 4-year degree here also.
All right. So Eagle Preview, I think we talked this whole time and we had mentioned a date or a time.
You might need to know that on our website. So Eagle Preview is scheduled for Saturday, October 12th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. As I mentioned, at select locations. And if you want to register for the event, you can find more information at www.hccs.edu/Eagle Preview.
And one of the things that is so good about Eagle Preview is this happening right before spring registration opens.
Absolutely. So if you're on the verge of thinking of registering the week before, you can come to Eagle Preview, and then that following Monday, you can actually get ready and register for classes. So it's perfect timing for those who are interested in spring, and even for those who aren't ready yet, or if maybe you're interested in summer or fall of 2025, come on out. We'd love to have you at Preview Day.
All right, Eagle Preview Day, October 12th, Saturday, October 12th.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it. It's happening on the weekend. No excuses. It'll be happening from 9 to 12 at multiple locations. Go to the link and the details will be posted after the show for you to register for the event. I want to thank Afrah Hassan, who is the director of HCC Outreach and Recruitment in Enrollment Management and Success. We'll have details posted after the show. Thanks so much for joining us, Afrah.
Thank you, Sade, always.
All right, well, coming up after a commercial break, Linda will visit with our Thursday Family Fun Day guests.
When I grow up, I want to work at a school so I can be a teacher.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back. We're here with Ashley DeHoyos Sauder, curator of DiverseWorks, and our Thursday Family Fun Day guest. Welcome back to the show, Ashley.
Hi, Linda. Thank you for having me.
We're going to learn more about the exhibition and some river fires. One that some may not know about or may have forgotten, but first tell us about DiverseWorks.
Yeah, so DiverseWorks is an arts organization located in Midtown, right off of 3400 Main Street. We are an organization that commissions, presents, and produce new and exciting work that is, usually through innovative collaborations. We were founded in '82, so we're about 42 years old, and we're nationally known for our programming and the way that we support artists.
Well, even though it is not the first river fire that inspired the exhibition, it's a local one. So let's start with a brief historical perspective of what happened on San Jacinto River all those years ago.
Yeah, so the San Jacinto River fire was in 1994. It was a situation that was brought on by a heavy rainstorm, part of a tropical depression that was over Houston, and then also just massive flooding. And there's actually a series of pipes that lay underneath the San Jacinto River San Jacinto River bank, and it happened to be in October of that year that, with the flooding and everything going on, that 8 of those pipes failed, and actually dumped equivalent to 1.47 million gallons of oil into the river, and those caught fire. And it was over a course of a couple of days. And so that's grew up in Baytown. I was born and raised there. And so this river is a river that I cross whenever I go see family or whenever I go home. And so it's something that's kind of stuck with me as a kid growing up in this area, this idea of water catching fire and questioning why.
Wow, that must have been frightening as a kid, but amazing. So now tell us about River on Fire, the exhibition, because it's all about climate justice.
Yeah, so River on Fire takes its name and really the inspiration from actually the San Jacinto River fire, but also through my research, I was able to understand that there's actually a long history of river fires, specifically in '68 and '69, that really impacted our understanding of environmental protection and what the things that we needed to do to make sure that we had clean water and clean air. The most famous river was the Cuyahoga River in Ohio, that caught fire and led to a lot of really interesting conversations. But for our show, we're taking those river fires historically, and I've let them lead conversations with artists, and there's 14 artists in the exhibition. Their work focuses on land toxicity to air quality, thinking about watersheds. And so each artist has a very different perspective and intersection around how climate climate change or environmental crisis impact their lives. One of our artists has actually connected it to understanding that the chemicals that are found in Fifth Ward are actually chemicals that can also be found in certain war materials. Another artist is looking at deep sea mining. We have a meditation on the ocean. We have an artist that was looking at plant remediation for with the red clover, which is a Texas flower.
Wow. Now, so what I'm understanding is these artists, they respond to the environmental crisis and the climate change, and it draws on environmental activism. Is that right?
Yeah, so really what, thinking about the San Jacinto fire and the upcoming 30th anniversary, I was really questioning what are the types of creative solutions or creative responses that artists are creating to these types of situations, which I feel like environmental crisis, because of the current state of where we are, it's something that in Houston, it feels very common, right? Like we live close to the ship channel. The Amnesty International named Houston's ship channel area as a sacrifice zone. We were also named in January of 2024 as a city that's risky to live in. And so a lot of these questions are centered here in Houston, but they actually radiate out into other communities. So we have artists from Canada, I have artists in Puerto Rico, Roswell, New Mexico, that are all here thinking about how their work or how the industry is connected and what is happening, between environmental, like the environmental crisis issues that are popping up.
So tell me a little bit about Sacrifice Zone.
Yeah, so the sacrifice zone is basically, it was a report done by Amnesty International that and labeled the communities around the Houston Ship Channel, which is actually where I grew up, as communities that are heavily influenced by toxicity and pollution, and it's considered that like these areas, because they're because they're in that area, because of the pollution, because of the industries, that they're constantly facing issues that would cause them to kind of end up being a sacrifice zone.
So you said you grew up in Baytown.
I did, yes.
So tell us a little bit about Baytown.
Yeah, so Baytown's on the southeast side, of Houston. So born and raised there. I've, growing up in the 80s and 90s in Baytown, my family, I watched them navigate living in these industries. I mean, Exxon bought a lot of property when I was growing up. I mean, it's a huge plant that is, interfacing with the community, but it's also, and this is part of the show as well, is that it's also under the show, and the ideas are also understanding like the complexities around what it means to live in these regions, right? So while I, am trying to understand my role in climate change or environmental crisis, I'm also currently implicated in it as well. So I have family members that work within the industry. I mean, these industries are high-paying jobs. They provide benefits. And so it really is also a conversation about what does it look like to survive? What is it and persevere in spaces when we're also meeting, we're not able to meet our, like the air quality and have, water access.
Wow. Baytown, I visited there. It's a little small family town, but it's very family friendly.
Yes, it is. Yes. And they have a really great up and coming arts and cultural district. And there's a lot of really great things that are happening. I still love going and visiting there. And so it is a bittersweet kind of situation in terms of like looking at it through this lens. But at the same time, I think that it's, a lot of the artists that I worked with in this show have very personal experiences that intersect environmental crisis and different industries that are causing harm to our city and to our communities.
Well, tell me a little bit more about these artists. I mean, just to be there to see this and witness this, beautiful, but scary.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, when you come into the exhibition, there's something for everybody. There's a piece that you can touch by Zuva, who is from New Mexico, and it's about energy. We have several projections, but, I'm sitting in front of Hannah Chulaw's piece right now, which is a handmade paper sculpture that is hung on the wall, and it's called Embodied Emissions. And Hannah is from New Orleans and is really trying to make work that is removing oil from or plastics from her pieces. And so the piece is made of sugarcane pulp, and she has her own iron ore ink that she uses and recycled material. So you'll see something like that that's behind me. We also have Joe Robles, who is a really great emerging photographer from Pasadena, who is been working on this project called I Still Grow Up Here. And he's photographing the joy and the resilience of community members that live in the area of Pasadena in relationship to him also experiencing documenting.
Well, Ashley, I tell you, we've gone on, and it's so interesting, but we need to find out about the exhibition and what are the dates and the hours?
Yeah, so the exhibition is open now until November 16th, where our gallery hours are Thursday through Saturday, 12 to 6. We also will have a symposium November 8th through the 10th here in the gallery as well.
Oh, well, thank you, Ashley DeHoyos Sauder, curator for DiverseWorks, and our Thursday Family Fun Day guest. We'll have your information in the post after the show. It's been a pleasure. We'll be right back. Coming up after a quick commercial break, Sharday and I will return with news and announcements.
When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
All right, well, welcome back. We're going to wrap things out like we always do on Up to the Minute with news and announcements. First up, this is for all HCC faculty and staff. It is that time of year for mandatory training, and we want to remind you of the deadline. By law, HCC requires annual mandatory training for all faculty and staff to provide basic governing principles of its policies and laws. Most training modules take about 30 minutes to complete, and many are due tomorrow. So be sure to check details posted after the show to learn how to log in and complete those mandatory trainings.
Innovation grants available. Apply now. HCC's endowed chairs for teaching and learning have evolved to become HCC's annual innovation grants. Applications are open for 5 faculty and student support staff to receive up to $5,000 to implement their plans. Deadlines for nominations, 5 p.m., Friday, October the 18th. Check out the post after the show.
All right, well, a faculty art exhibition, is happening at our Spring Branch Gallery. HCC Northwest is featuring the works of Justin Varner and Hair of the Bird. An artist reception will be held in October, and the exhibition will be through November 1st at our Spring Branch campus. The exhibition is free. Everyone is welcome. And so check the post after the show for more details.
Grad deadlines posted. Don't miss your chance. Another grad season is upon us. If a student is getting ready to graduate this semester, they must complete 2 important steps by their deadlines. Students must apply for graduation to show they have met all academic requirements before they can receive a diploma. Also, if they plan to walk the stage at commencement on December the 13th, they must register. Apply for graduation by November the 1st, registration for commencement by November the 15th. Check out the post after the show.
All right, well, thank you for that, Linda. Now, one thing I always have to emphasize is every time we mention graduation, you know what your mind goes to? Walking across that stage, right? But graduation means that you have completed all the steps you need to complete your degree program. Commencement is that ceremony. So we got to make sure you hit both of those deadlines to see your smiling face on commencement day. And we can't wait to celebrate you. Linda is an alumni. You participated in one of our commencement.
Yes, I did. And can I just add, it is such an emotional moment. All of that hard work, those studies, those professors, those classes. And it's not until you get up to go up to that stage that it hits you. I tell you, I cried. Tears just kept pouring and pouring and pouring. And my son was there to see me too. Oh, don't take me back. Don't take me back. I'm getting teary-eyed again.
It's still too soon. It's still too soon.
It's still too soon. And that was years ago, 2015. But it's still too soon.
You see how she's having flashbacks like that? You can flash forward and say, you know what? If I get started this spring, I'll be one step closer to graduation. And you can do just that because spring registration is about to open up. I know it seems like fall just started, but registration for the spring semester, general registration will be opening October 21st, and it will offer HCC courses in a range of different course options, which is online anytime, allows you to study at your own pace, but meet the deadlines of the course. Of course, there's online on a schedule where it is remote, but you have scheduled instruction virtually, and you have hybrid, which is a mix of face-to-face and in-person, as well as of course our in-person classes and hybrid labs. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, be sure to go to hccs.edu/apply. All right, well, looking ahead, we have a lot of faculty art exhibitions going on all over the HCC system. So the Visual Arts Chair, Catherine Fields, will be here to talk about them tomorrow. And for Film Friday, we'll visit the new owners of the River Oaks Theater. Yes, it is back. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.